Hey guys, this is Austin, and today it's time to finally build what you guys have been asking for months. This is the ultimate Xbox 360. So of course, to start with, we have our pristine, brand new in box Xbox 360 4GB with Kinect. I mean, the last part was true. When it comes to building the ultimate console, one of the most important things is to find something that is compatible with the most accessories. And even though you can get some stuff for the original Xbox 360 as well as the Super Slim, this is definitely going to be our best bet. Oh boy, what a wonderful packing job. Okay, well, the first thing we're gonna find here is actually one of the weirdest Xbox 360 accessories, the original Kinect. Man, this thing is disgustingly dirty. Can you see the level of scratches on this? Does that come up on camera? It looks like someone's rubbed this thing down with sandpaper. But hey, at least we got it for a smooth $20. Thanks, Ken. Obviously, this is the way you've got to play your Xbox. Oh! Ugh! Why is it so dirty? Dude, there's you can literally see dust collected inside the fan here. Could have found this a cleaner Xbox. Okay. So now that we have a slightly cleaner Xbox, the first accessory has to be Kinect. Now this is a really weird one. Not only was this by far the biggest accessory that was available for the 360, but in some ways it was a pretty big success, but in a lot of ways it was kind of a failure. So it came out in 2010, several years after the Xbox 360 came out. And the idea here is that with a series of cameras and sensors, it would basically turn you into the controller. There was this famous demo at E3 before this was announced, back when it was called Project Natal, where they had this kid skateboarding in his room using nothing but his body as the controller, and it looked super, super awesome. Of course, as with nearly all of these demos, it wasn't quite as good as it sort of seemed once you actually got your hands on it. Thus, this was picked up for 20 bucks in a bargain bin somewhere. But before we get to that, we have to finish upgrading our Xbox 360. And the first thing we're going to do is put in a bigger hard drive. So back in these days, Microsoft sold internal hard drives that you could install yourself because for some wonderful reason, this Xbox 360 was shipping with only 4 gigabytes of capacity, mostly so they could actually bundle Kinect in the box, which, as you can imagine, for a more modern console, not exactly a lot of storage. So if you flip over the 360, there's a little panel here where you can drop in a hard drive. So this guy is going to give us 500 gigabytes of capacity, although, as always, we're gonna go above that. But it's an easy way of getting a lot more storage in what is really a very difficult Xbox to use if you don't have at least some kind of SSD or HDD or USB. Yeah, it's all the things, right? HDD, USB, SSD. So something interesting is that even though the Xbox One doesn't allow you to install an internal hard drive, the 360 always did. So if you remember the original fat Xbox 360, it actually had the top-mounted hard drives, which were really easy to pop on and off, but with the Slim, they moved to this sort of cartridge design, which realistically is just a 2.5-inch laptop drive that you just slide in, something like that. And because of course we're trying to build the ultimate Xbox 360, a mere 500 gigabytes of capacity is definitely not going to be enough, which is where the Seagate game drive comes in. So this is a 500 gigabyte SSD. Now this is typically meant for the Xbox One, as it does have USB 3.0, and actually is going to be faster than the internal drive. However, this is before USB 3.0. So instead, we're hooking up a 500 gigabyte USB 2.0 SSD. So that'll be fast. So the Xbox 360 was the last of the major consoles to stick with only dual-layer DVD support. Now that was fine for stuff like the PS2, but when it came to the 360, while most games were able to fit on a single DVD, quite a few actually did need to ship on multiple discs. However, unlike the PS3, which had Blu-ray support, that was nowhere to be found on the 360, and thus this wonderful, ridiculous accessory was born. The Xbox HD DVD player. So for those of you who are not familiar with the HD DVD format, this was essentially the competitor to Blu-ray back in the day. That's the HD DVD name. Pretty clever, I know. Are you serious? It looks like a mini fat Xbox 360. Oh, I never realized that. I've never actually seen one of these in person. Yo, I mean, it doesn't match with this at all, but that is so cool. So now it's time to connect this. So we've got our power adapter. We've also got our second part of the power adapter, and then it connects via mini USB. This whole thing feels straight out of 2006. So when it first came out, the HD DVD add-on was a pretty impressive $200, which still actually probably would have been cheaper than a lot of the HD DVD players at the time. But of course, it went absolutely nowhere, and thus we have Blu-ray, and I have a really ridiculous player that we have a game for. Oh, sorry, no, actually they didn't make games for it. Right, so this is only for movies, I forgot. Do we have a movie for it? March of the Penguins. Okay, so this is one of the very few HD DVDs that existed. So one of the only real issues with the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One of today still is that they run on AA batteries, although thankfully we have a way around that too. This is the Nyko Charge Base S. So in addition to giving you 2 rechargeable batteries in the box, it's also going to be a little dock we can actually charge our controllers with. It just feels so weird to be opening up all these old accessories that have clearly been sitting around some like Amazon backroom for like 5 years, but it's okay, they're gonna have a better life now. So I don't think, that's not gonna fit, whatever. This one will fit. So you can see what this is supposed to look like if you don't have your giant chat pad on. Now with all of these accessories connected to our Xbox 360, one might worry that it might get a little bit warm perhaps, get a little bit of a red ring of death perhaps, even though this is a Slim and it doesn't actually physically have red rings to do that with. Well, in that case, we have an intercooler. You know, that wonderful accessory that we've tried on many occasions and has never done anything. Let's try it here. So the claim to fame with this one isn't so much to let the temperatures run a little bit cooler when you're normally using your Xbox 360, but for when you've got it in a confined space, it's supposed to direct hot air away from the console. Okay, so this is a pretty small intercooler, I will say. So basically you've got one fan on the inside, which actually kind of looks like a GPU fan. And then I guess it sort of mounts onto the side, something like that. Seems a little bit excessive. Don't you just clip it onto the side? Yeah, you just clip it on the side. There we go. That doesn't look like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And of course, because everything here is mounted via USB, I'm gonna use up the last port on the back of the Xbox. I've gotta say, that is looking a little bit more like the ultimate Xbox 360. What fell? All right, so we've got some decent stuff here. The Xbox is going to be cool. It's going to have an HD DVD experience. We're going to have wireless rechargeable controllers and a Kinect, which is useful for all kinds of games that are not called Just Dance. However, there's one last piece that I think is gonna really pull this all together. So this is the vault for Xbox 360, and it's a little bit unusual. So if you pop it open here, what you're going to find is that not only is it all going to be branded with Battlefield 3, but it's essentially a case for the 360. It's a little bit weird. So they use it as like a, oh look, you can sort of mount a controller on the side of it and make it look all cool, but I don't know why you want this. Oh wow, okay. Assembly instructions. When I said I'm gonna be building the ultimate Xbox 360, I didn't think I actually had to literally build it. Oh, okay. Okay, well, this is a thing in multiple pieces. So it looks like a claymore and a smoke grenade. And so with that, we have the ultimate Xbox 360 in all its really ridiculous plastic glory. So after a quick battery change, we've got, you know, the LEDs working on our super cool claymore. So, you know, that's a thing. Hey, look, it's got me. So this is what it looks like with Kinect when you actually have, you know, a working skeleton. We also do have everything showing up. So it shows our 500GB hard drive, as well as our 476GB SSD. And we also have the HD DVD player, which has 191 megabytes free. What? So of course, we're gonna have to play a game with this setup, and what better than Skyrim, which apparently is better with Kinect? Oh no, the tray doesn't want to open. I think our tray is busted. Oh, it just took 3 tries to open up. That's fine, that's what you should expect out of the ultimate Xbox 360. And it's really weird to put a disc in a system and not have to wait for it to download and patch and update. It just starts. Maybe this is the ultimate console after all. So apparently I can use Kinect to shout voice commands in Skyrim, which doesn't sound particularly useful. Wow, what revolutionary Kinect gameplay. I'm really amazed with the power of this technology. It's super helpful. Actually, here's something curious. So I've got Skyrim in the DVD drive right now, and it shows play Skyrim, but I also now have an HD DVD in the HD DVD player. So how do I actually get to that? My video apps. Oh, we found it. There's an HD DVD app. Oh no, can't read this disc. If it's a game, CD, or disc, put it in their Xbox 360 disc tray. Come on, are you serious? My Xbox, my ultimate Xbox. It's all failing me. So that, my friends, is how not to build the ultimate Xbox 360 with lots of components which are of dubious value or don't work at all. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please watch some of the other Building the Ultimate series, which I can assure you are much, much better.